Okay guys, so now I'm back into the real world and I have my USB connected to my desktop, the one that we already burned on Windows. So I'm gonna show you guys how to install Ubuntu Server. So this is gonna be a little lengthy process, but I'm gonna keep it as short as possible and just show you when you're gonna have to make some changes and what changes you're gonna have to make and so on. So I'm gonna turn on my desktop here. Okay, so it says install Ubuntu Server with I don't know what that says. We're gonna go with the first one, which says install Ubuntu Server. I'm gonna press enter. I'm gonna wait a little bit until it boots up. Now it shows us which language we wanna pick. So I speak English, so I'm gonna pick English. Country, United States. It says if we want to detect our keyboard layout. If you know your keyboard layout, don't do this. So just go nope. Select your keyboard layout. Mine is English US, so I'm gonna select that and press enter. I'm always pressing enter to go on. So if you have a US one that is different, like the Borak or Cherokee or anything else, you can select that. I'm gonna go with normal English. I was gonna load the internet and so on, checking IPv6 and so on, getting IP addresses. I don't think this usually takes a long time, but it's very important. Make sure that your computer is actually connected to the internet. For in this case, you want it to be connected through the Ethernet, because that's the fastest way to transfer data and also to configure in the first place, because we don't have to put any SSIDs or anything. It's asking me to put the host name. So the host name is basically the name that your computer is gonna have in the network. So put a name that is gonna make it easier for you to find it in the network. In this case, I'm just gonna name it YouTube tutorial, and then I'm gonna press tab and then enter to continue. Now it's asking us to find the closest mirror to our location. In this case, it's gonna be the United States one. I don't care which mirror it wants to take. United States is gonna be the fastest one, at least for me. But if you have one in your country, you can pick one for your country and press enter. It says that it found the US archive.ubuntu.com. We're gonna select that one. If you have a proxy, you will have to deal with this. I don't know what you can do with this. I'm just gonna press tab and press continue. Most people don't have to deal with this unless you're in a business or a school. So now it's downloading or loading some modules for the installation and for the base system. So this can take a little bit. I don't think it's gonna take a long time. There you go. So it asks us to put our full name of the user. So I'm just gonna name it Angel's Tinkering Corner. Then press continue. And then username for my account, I'm just gonna call it Angel. Then continue. And then choose a password. It's not gonna show my password, so that's good. I'm just gonna make it YouTube 123. Hopefully I don't forget. This one is gonna be YouTube 123. It says that if we want to configure encryption for home directory, I'm just gonna say no, because encryption takes a lot of processing power, and it takes a lot of time to encrypt and decrypt and encrypt and decrypt. So I really usually don't do this, because I'm not afraid of anything in my computer, so I don't care. So I'm just gonna press no. It says based on your physical location, your time zone is America, New York. Yes, I'm in New York. If you guys don't know that, I live in New York City. So make sure that this is your proper time zone. So if you're in a certain place, it should say your city or a city close to it, or the time zone. So let's go yes. In this case, we're asked to tell the system how we want to partition our system. Guided means that it's gonna use the entire disk, so it's gonna make it its own partitions and so on. In here, guided with set LMV, I'm not sure what that is. I don't usually use it. And encrypted LMV, LVM, and this LVM. I don't use them. I don't care. What I care really is about manual and guided. Manual, we wanna keep it real simple and just use the entire disk. But if you wanna make your own partitions, you can go to manual and make your own partition sizes based on how you want your system to look. I'm just gonna go guided and use entire partition. Then it's gonna ask me which drive. I know it's a 160 gigabyte drive, so I'm just gonna select that one. If you have different drives in your computer, I'll ask you to first make sure, be very sure that you're installing it in the drive that you want. I don't want to have people saying that they lost data because of they're doing this process and they installing the wrong disk and they wipe their system, or they wipe their data in a certain drive. So if you don't know which drive is which, but you know which one is physically, unplug it from the computer and then install the system, just to be sure that that system is gonna go in the drive that you actually want to go. And it makes it easier most of the time. Sometimes you have issues when you have other drives in the system that you don't want to install it in. So I'm gonna go and press enter. It's gonna ask me if I'm okay with the partitioning system. So the first partition here, right here, says that it's gonna make an extended 4, and it's gonna be in SDB, and then it says that it's gonna make a swap partition. So extended 4 partitions are the partitions that that Linux makes by default. You can use other type of partitions if you go into manual and make your own partitioning. And some partitionings and some file systems have very big advantages over other systems. Like for example, there are some that you can make snapshots of them and so on, but we're not gonna deal with that for now. So the defaults are fine. Extended 4 is fine. The swap partition right here is gonna be a small partition that is gonna be made. So if your RAM gets filled, what is gonna happen is that the system is gonna start sending data instead of to your RAM. It's gonna send it to the swap partition, so you can clean up some of the RAM so the system does not choke and crashes. So that's another thing that makes Linux a little bit more stable, that it can actually do that. And also we don't suffer from a lot of fragmentation. So write changes to disk, yes. So it says that we're creating the standard for partitions and so on. This is gonna take a little longer. And now it's gonna install the base system. It's gonna install all the key elements for Linux to actually function, or server to actually function. This can take a little bit, so I think I'm gonna be back when it is actually done. Oh wait, no, it's going pretty fast now. There we go. Applying updates for a frequent basis is important to keeping your system secure. So basically now this configuration windows asks us how we want to manage updates. If you don't want automatic updates, you can say no, and then every time you log in, you can do sudo apt-get update and then sudo apt-get upgrade to upgrade your system every time, or you can ask it to apply security updates. This is the best way to go. Install security updates automatically, because it's only gonna install security updates required for your system. So if there a 0 day, if it's there a breach, if there something that is gonna put your data at danger of someone taking over your system or something, they're gonna patch it right away, and they're gonna send the patch straight to your computer. So I'm just gonna say install security updates automatically. Then later on, if I need to install application updates, then I'm just gonna log in into the system and do it myself. So all the updates that were going before are, I guess, done now. So now it has a list of packages that we can install and group of packages. So the thing that I will say we have to install is the LAMP over here. LAMP is it's Linux, Apache, MySQL, and something with a P, and that, I don't know. It's basically all the packages required to make a web server. So it's a good thing to have it ticked here. What else do we need? Let me see. SAMBA, we need SAMBA. Because SAMBA is gonna help us with making the file server. And we have a lot of different things here. We need OpenSSH, we need that, because that's gonna allow us to come inside of our system from another system, whether it's remotely or anything. No, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. We don't need any of that, so I'm gonna press tab and then press enter to continue, and then it's gonna install all the packages that we ticked. So that's gonna take a while, so I'll be right back. So now it's asking us to put a password to our root of MySQL. You can put any password that you want. Make sure that you save the password. Put it in a piece of paper or something, but save that password. So in this case, because this is a test, I'm just gonna put the same password that I put before. Let me see, make sure. There you go. Again. There you go. So it's gonna keep installing things, and I'll be right back once it is done. So now it says that it seems that this is a new installation on the operating system of your computer. It should install. It's just saying that it wants to install a bootloader named Groove. Groove is a pretty good thing to have, even if you don't have another system in your computer. That's what I'm basically saying. So I'll say, based on my experience, it's always better to have Groove in it, even though if you have only one system, like let's say only Ubuntu server in your computer, you don't really need it, but it's good to have it. So I'm gonna press enter, say yes, enter the device. I wanna install it in, so I'm gonna install it in my hard drive, which is a WDC, and then we can wait. We can wait and wait and wait. This one shouldn't take that long. Um, shouldn't take that long. Yeah, it's not setting up passwords and so on and so forth. And now it says the system's clock. Our generator sets to coordinate the system is the system clock set to UTC? I am not sure at all. So I'm just gonna say no. Installation is complete. Now we're finally done. We're finally done. This is basically it. This is how you install Ubuntu Server. It says installation is complete, so it is time to boot into your new system. Make sure that you remove the installation media drives and so on. So we're gonna press enter and it's gonna reboot, and then while it's rebooting, I'm just gonna remove the USB drive. So I'm just gonna press continue. So it's gonna finish what it's doing, and I'm gonna disconnect the drive. So the drive is right here, and now it's restarting. It's gonna boot into the system, and you're gonna see how amazing it is, how amazing Ubuntu Server looks. Okay, so after the installation is done, it's gonna reboot and it's gonna boot into something that looks like this. This is basically at the corner of my screen, so you can barely see it, but it says Ubuntu 16.04.2 LTS YouTube dash tutorial, which is the name that we gave to the computer, and then says YouTube dash tutorial login. I'm gonna put my username, which was Angel from Angel's Tinkering Corner, and then password was YouTube123. And after we first log in, it's gonna look like this. Now I have logged in. I logged in before to make sure that everything was working properly. So the first thing that we can do always is do a sudo apt get update my password YouTube123, enter. And this is gonna basically refresh the repositories to see if there is any updates and so on. To actually make the updates, to put the updates in the system, we do sudo apt get upgrade. Now we don't have any updates because this system is basically fresh. It's just minutes old, so it has the most up-to-date software that they have in the server, so we really don't have anything else to do. So I'm gonna conclude the video here for now. We already have our system with Ubuntu Server installed. We basically have a server already. So the other things that we have to do are configure SAMBA so we can have a file server. We're gonna configure also on cloud or Nextcloud. In this case, we're gonna use Nextcloud so we can have a cloud server that we can access our server or files that are in the server. We're also gonna install Plex, and Plex is basically gonna let us stream our media no matter where we are or where we go. So we're gonna leave the video here. Thank you guys for watching and have a very good day, and don't forget to subscribe if you wanna follow this series of videos. So yeah, thank you for watching.